Hi, Dr. Kulla here. So, we're here to talk about the color of your poop. I know, not a very fun topic to talk about, but it's really important because the color of your poop has a lot to do with your health. So, let's dive into it. What's normal? Brown is the normal color, okay? Straight brown, that's the normal color. Now, if you have any questions about the shape and the size of your poop, thin, fat, diarrhea, loose, greasy, whatever it may be, those issues I spoke about in another video. Please make sure you check that video out, the shape of your poop and what that means for your health. But now we're going to dive into the color of the poop. So, first of all, the color of your poop comes from bile, not what many of you think, your food, okay? So it comes from bile, and the bile is made in the liver, okay? And the bile is stored in what's called your gallbladder, and some people have had their gallbladders removed. We're not going to get too into that, but you can see how that could be a problem for long-term health if you've had your gallbladder removed. But the gallbladder stores all the bile, and then when you eat, it's squeezed and it pours into the small intestines. And then the pancreas releases enzymes to help break that down into tiny particles. Oftentimes, if you have a fatty liver or a gallbladder obstruction, that can cause a gray or a light colored stool. So it can appear gray or it can appear really light colored brown, like a super light brown color or a yellowish brown color. I like to refer it more to a gray, dull, lighter brown color. Now, if you notice it's floating on the surface of the water, you know ahead of time that there is most likely a fatty liver involved here. Okay. Now, again, it can also be a gallbladder obstruction with a gray or a light colored stool. If you notice that the stool is really foul smelling and greasy, this would indicate that your pancreas is overworked and overused. Or you could have, on a very, very rare occasion, you could have cancer. But that's extremely rare. You certainly want to rule all of that out. Now, the overworked pancreas. There's some things that you can do for that. So if you have really foul smelling stool and it's greasy, what you can do is try to do some intermittent fasting. So you can either just stop eating breakfast, or you can do a 2 or a 3 day fast. And you'll find that when you're fasting, you still have to use the bathroom and go number 2 and poop while you're fasting. And that's okay. It may be a little bit less, but that's okay. That's normal. Your digestive tract is getting caught up. So it's not a bad idea to do that every so often. Again, 2 or 3 days, anything more than that, you really want to do that under a doctor's supervision. And then we have black stool. So if you have black stool, this is more serious. This is something that you need to address, because what this means is you probably have either an ulcer or bleeding of some sort in your GI tract. And that can come from overuse of NSAIDs like ibuprofen, naproxen, meloxicam, different NSAIDs that are out there. There's a bunch of them. I'm not going to name them all. Or it could come from just taking Tylenol, right? And getting a stomach ulcer. So that's when your stomach's bleeding. So that could be really serious if it's a black stool, okay? Now, let's say it's red stool. Well, if it's a red stool, usually that's not as serious, because usually that means you have hemorrhoids and they're bleeding, and the hemorrhoids are at the end or the, say, the large intestines near the end of your digestive tract. And there could also be some bleeding if it's bright red and it's on your tissue when you're wiping. If that red color is there, bright red, again, then it would most likely be from hemorrhoids or some sort of bleeding in the large intestines, usually hemorrhoids, and you should get that checked out. Okay. And then there's green stool, and green stool is not a bad thing. Green stool usually means that you've been eating maybe a lot of greens, a lot of kale, a lot of food that has a high content of chlorophyll. And chlorophyll is good for many reasons, but that's what green stool means. Nothing to be alarmed about. And this is what your stool color tells you about your GI health. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you guys so much. If you got anything from this video, or even if you just like this view of the Empire State Building and the Chrysler Building, give me a like and don't Don't forget to subscribe. Appreciate you guys.